Welcome to the Scenario Podcast, your guide to mental health and well-being. Each episode, we uncover practical tools, discuss expert insights, and explore how supplements can transform your mental health journey. Get ready to learn, grow, and thrive with us.
Okay, let's talk about something maybe you felt. That frustrating mix. Brain fog, maybe low motivation, or just feeling tired.
Yeah.
Deeply tired, even when you think you get a full night's sleep.
Mm-hmm.
It happens to so many people.
Yeah.
And yeah, it often gets chalked up to just, stress or burnout.
Right. Standard explanations.
But what if it's more? What if these are signs, kind of subtle signals of what you might call a silent deficiency, something holding your brain back?
That's a really important angle to consider.
So today, in this deep dive, we're going after a potential hidden culprit here, vitamin B12.
Yeah, B12.
Our mission. We want to explore why your brain needs this nutrient, really get into the science of how it affects focus, mood, mental energy,
Crucial stuff.
and most importantly, figure out how you can make sure you're actually getting enough.
Absolutely. B12 is just foundational for brain health, for cognitive performance, emotional balance too. And it's genuinely surprising how many people might be falling short without even knowing it.
Especially certain groups, right?
Exactly. So understanding its impact, it's a really key step towards better mental well-being for a lot of folks.
Okay, so let's start right at the beginning. What is vitamin B12? Cobalamin, I think it's also called. Why is it so essential, especially for the brain and nervous system?
Right, cobalamin. Well, it's an essential vitamin, which is key. Essential means your body just cannot make it on its own.
Okay, so you have to get it from outside.
Precisely. You need external sources. And its importance for your brain and nervous system, well, it really can't be overstated. It works in, let's say, 4 main ways.
Right.
First, it's vital for making healthy red blood cells. Think of these like little delivery trucks.
Carrying oxygen.
Exactly.
Right.
All through your body, but critically to your brain. So if you're low on B12, your brain might actually be getting less oxygen.
Which leads to feeling tired, foggy.
Precisely. Tiredness, poor memory, foggy thinking. That's one. Second, B12 supports DNA production. That's fundamental for, every single cell to function and prepare itself.
Wow, okay.
Third, it keeps your nerves healthy. It does this by maintaining the myelin sheath.
Myelin. That sounds familiar. It's like insulation.
Perfect analogy. It's a protective coating around nerve fibers. It lets messages travel super fast and efficiently between your brain and the rest of your body.
Got it. And the fourth?
And finally, it helps regulate key neurotransmitters. Things like serotonin and dopamine.
The mood chemicals.
The mood chemicals, yeah. And motivation focus, too. B12 plays a direct role there.
It's amazing how reliant we are on something we can't even make.
Yeah.
So where do we get it from then, if our bodies don't produce it?
Right. You have to get it from your diet or, supplements if your diet isn't enough. And the main sources are almost all animal-based foods.
Okay, like what specifically?
Meat, particularly liver, is very high. Fish, shellfish, eggs, milk, cheese, other dairy products, those are your primary B12 sources.
So that immediately tells us something about who might be at risk of not getting enough.
Absolutely. Because of those dietary sources, certain groups are definitely more likely to become deficient. Vegans and vegetarians, obviously, since plant foods don't naturally contain B12.
Right, makes sense.
Adults over 50 also face challenges. Our ability to absorb B12 tends to decrease as we age. Often it's down to lower stomach acid.
Interesting. So even if they eat B12-rich foods, they might not absorb it well.
Exactly. And then there are people with gut or digestion issues. Think IBS, Crohn's disease, celiac disease. They often struggle significantly to absorb enough B12. Also, people under chronic stress, and surprisingly perhaps, those taking common medications like antacids or metformin, they can also be more susceptible.
Okay, let's unpack this a bit more then. What actually happens if you don't get enough B12? And how quickly do these effects start showing up? Do you feel it right away?
Well, when B12 levels dip too low, your body, it struggles. It can't make enough healthy red blood cells, and it can't keep the nerves working properly. Over time, this can cause a whole range of symptoms.
Like the brain fog we mentioned.
Yeah. Persistent brain fog, definitely. Memory problems, too, like trouble recalling names, facts, that sort of thing. A persistent low mood, maybe even symptoms that look like depression.
Wow.
And that constant, just unshakable fatigue or burnout. Plus, you might get strange physical sensations, like numbness or tingling, pins and needles, in your hands and feet.
That sounds serious.
In severe prolonged cases, it can even lead to permanent nerve damage. But what's really crucial to get across is you don't have to be dangerously deficient.
Okay.
Even mildly low levels can significantly impact your brain function and your energy. It can just subtly erode your well-being over time.
It really does sound foundational. So thinking about its impact, let's zoom in on mental sharpness, focus, clarity. I think a lot of people struggle with that.
Oh, absolutely.
If you've ever felt your focus slipping, maybe you can't concentrate even though you slept okay, how could low B12 be part of that picture? This is where it gets really interesting, I think.
It really does. B12 is absolutely critical for day-to-day brain function. Let's break down why. First, remember that myelin sheath we talked about?
Insulation for the nerves, yeah.
Right. Think of your nervous system as like complex electrical wiring. Myelin is the protective coating that lets signals travel fast and clear. B12 is essential for making that myelin.
Okay.
So when B12 is low, that insulation can start to break down. Nerve signals literally slow down or they get scrambled.
So it's not just feeling tired, the actual communication is getting fuzzy.
Exactly. It's like your brain's internal highway is developing potholes. And that shows up as brain fog, forgetfulness, thinking feels slow, you struggle to concentrate.
That makes so much sense. What else?
Second, B12 is instrumental in actually creating the neurotransmitters for focus and motivation.
Right. Dopamine, serotonin.
Dopamine, yeah. Crucial for motivation, focus, staying alert. Serotonin for mood, emotional balance, and also acetylcholine. That one's important for memory, attention, learning.
So B12 is needed to make the chemicals that make us feel focused and driven.
You got it. It's like a key ingredient in your brain's feel-good and focuses factory. If B12 is missing, production slows down. Research, like a review from 2016, showed how B12 is needed for this critical step involving something called SAME, which keeps these brain chemicals balanced.
All right.
Without enough B12, you get difficulty focusing, mental exhaustion, maybe a lack of interest or drive.
And is there a long-term impact too?
Yes, absolutely. Third point, B12 seems to protect against cognitive decline over time, chronic low B12 levels. They're associated with a higher risk of dementia and Alzheimer's.
Really?
Yeah, and also greater brain shrinkage, poor executive function, problem solving, decision making. There was a UK study followed over 1,000 older folks, those with lower B12 status. They showed faster cognitive decline and worse memory over 5 years.
Wow, that's significant.
It really highlights the long-term importance, even for younger people. Supporting your B12 levels now helps protect your brain health down the road.
So putting this all together, what does this mean for, your ability to stay sharp day to day and also protect your brain as you get older? It sounds like B12 is a piece we just can't ignore.
It really is a foundational piece of that puzzle. Non-negotiable, really.
Okay, building on that, let's shift slightly. Something else that affects so many people is mood, emotional balance. And what's fascinating here is the link between B12 and how we feel emotionally.
It's a critical connection and maybe one that's often overlooked. Low B12 levels are strongly associated with a higher risk of depression.
Depression specifically.
Yes, and also heightened anxiety and just general irritability. There's solid research. A big meta-analysis in 2020 published in Psychiatry Research found something striking.
What was that?
Individuals with low B12 levels were actually twice as likely to suffer from depression compared to people with adequate levels.
Twice as likely. Wow.
Yeah. It's a really important link, especially if you're dealing with chronic stress or persistent low mood. Addressing a potential B12 deficiency could be a key step towards feeling better emotionally.
That's huge.
Yeah.
Now let's talk energy, mental energy specifically. Have you ever felt just mentally drained, even after a decent night's sleep?
That afternoon slump.
Yeah. Or hitting a wall, struggling to focus or get anything done. That feeling like your brain just won't boot up properly.
Yeah.
How does B12 fit into that deep mental tiredness?
That kind of profound exhaustion, yeah, it can absolutely be linked to not having enough B12. It plays several really crucial roles in keeping you energized and alert mentally.
Okay, like what?
First, it actually helps your brain make energy. It's a vital helper, a cofactor in the chemical reactions that produce ATP.
ATP, that's the body's energy currency, right?
Exactly. It's the primary fuel for your brain cells. Without enough B12, your cells struggle to generate this ATP efficiently.
So, less fuel for the brain.
Less fuel, leading directly to mental exhaustion, slower thinking, that sort of heavy head feeling. Some studies have shown low B12 directly impairs mitochondrial energy production. That's where ATP is made.
Right, the mitochondria. Okay, so energy production, what else?
Second, remember the oxygen delivery.
from the red blood cells, yes.
B12 is essential for making those healthy red blood cells. Your brain needs a constant, really robust supply of oxygen to stay sharp. If B12 is low, you make fewer effective red blood cells. Oxygen delivery slows down.
And that makes you feel.
You might feel out of breath sometimes, or dizzy, constant tiredness even after rest, and that foggy, unclear mind again. Basically, your brain literally isn't getting the oxygen it needs to work at its best.
It sounds so direct when you put it like that.
It is. And third, there's homocysteine.
Homocysteine, what's that?
It's a natural substance in your body, an amino acid. But too much of it can cause problems. Inflammation, stress on blood vessels, and, relevant here, significant mental fatigue.
Okay, so we don't want too much of it.
Right. And vitamin B12 helps break down homocysteine, converting it into something harmless. If your B12 is too low, homocysteine levels can build up.
And that buildup causes problems.
Yes, that accumulation has been linked specifically to brain fog, low energy, and also an increased risk of mood disorders and cognitive decline. So B12 helps keep that potentially harmful substance in check.
Wow. Okay, so B12 is hitting energy and mood from multiple angles, oxygen, direct energy production, managing homocysteine.
Exactly. It's working on several fronts simultaneously.
So before we wrap up this deep dive, let's make sure everyone listening is clear on the key takeaways. Practical stuff. Who should be most mindful of their B12 levels? Let's recap those risk groups.
Sure. So quickly, again, vegans and vegetarians, definitely, due to diet. Adults over 50 because absorption often declines.
Right.
Anyone with digestive disorders, IBS, Crohn's, celiac disease, absorption is a major issue there.
Okay.
Also, people under chronic stress and those taking certain common medications like antacids or the diabetes drug metformin, all groups that should pay closer attention.
Got it. And if someone thinks they might need more, maybe through supplements, you mentioned there are different forms of B12. That's important.
Yes, very important. Not all B12 supplements are the same. Methylcobalamin, that's generally considered the most bioavailable form.
Bioavailable meaning easier for the body to use.
Exactly. Readily absorbed and utilized. It's often recommended for mental energy, memory, mood support.
Okay, methylcobalamin. What else?
There's adenosylcobalamin. This form is particularly good for supporting that mitochondrial energy production we talked about. So great for fatigue and mental clarity.
Adenosylcobalamin. Okay.
Then there's cyanocobalamin. This one is synthetic. Your body has to convert it into an active form.
So more work for the body.
For work, yeah. It's generally seen as less effective, especially for people who might have difficulty with those conversion processes, sometimes related to genetics, called methylation issues.
So methylcobalamin and adenosylcobalamin sound like better bets generally.
Often, yes. They are the active forms the body uses directly.
That's really useful. Now, the big question, how much B12 do you actually need?
Good question. The standard recommended dietary allowance, the RDA, for adults is 2.4 micrograms per day. That's micrograms, so tiny amount.
2.4 milligrams.
However, and this is important, therapeutic doses, the amounts often used in studies or recommended clinically to actually improve mood, focus, or energy levels are usually much higher.
How much higher?
Typically in the range of 500 to 1,000 micrograms per day, sometimes even more under clinical supervision.
Wow, that's a huge difference from the RDA. Is that safe?
Generally, yes. B12 is a water-soluble vitamin. That means your body typically just excretes any excess it doesn't need through urine. So the risk of toxicity from high doses is very low.
Okay, that's reassuring. So if you're listening and some of this is resonating, let's quickly list those key symptoms again. Things to watch out for.
Definitely.
Persistent fatigue, maybe?
Yeah.
Low mental energy that just doesn't lift?
Yep. Brain fog, forgetfulness that feels kind of unusual for you.
Low mood, perhaps, or mood swings that seem out of character.
Those pins and needles, the tingling in hands or feet.
Dizziness, maybe? Balance problems?
Can be. And sometimes physical signs like pale skin or even a sore, inflamed tongue.
Okay, so if several of those sound familiar, it might be worth looking into B12. Maybe talking to a healthcare provider, considering a good quality supplement.
It's definitely worth exploring as part of an overall approach to mental wellness.
Absolutely. It really seems like vitamin B12, it might be just one nutrient, but its impact on the brain is just massive.
It really is.
Whether you're battling fatigue or really struggling to concentrate or dealing with those mood fluctuations, B12 could potentially be a missing piece of the puzzle for you.
Couldn't agree more. And maybe a final thought for everyone listening to consider.
Yeah.
If we accept this deep connection, between our body's biochemistry and our mental state, our clarity, our emotional well-being, just think. How much better could you feel by simply ensuring your brain has enough of these foundational nutrients like B12 that it absolutely needs to thrive? It might be a simpler key than you think.
Thanks for tuning in to the Scenario Podcast. Don't forget to visit scenario.com for more expert tips, articles, and supplements designed to support your mental health. If you enjoyed this episode, remember to subscribe and share it with a friend. Until next time, take care of yourself.